Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest Propulsion Swimming live stream, where today we are going to be covering day 2 finals of the Manchester International Swim Meet held by British Swimming. I'm your host, Scott, and with me is my expert coach and former Olympic trial swimmer, Dan. How are you doing, Dan?
Very good. It's a bit cold outside, isn't it, today? My God, it's in the minus numbers, it feels like. But yes, all ready to go. All pumped up for this final day. Finals day 2 anyway.
Yeah. So if you didn't join us yesterday, the idea of this live stream is we are providing you guys with some live reactions, some alternate commentary to the races that you're going to see on the British Swimming live feed. Unfortunately, we can't show the swimming on this feed. Like I explained yesterday, it's not our footage to show, and it would also destroy the countryside Wi-Fi that I have running this setup right now.
Yeah,
I'm not quite built for this.
No. But we'll have to do what we can do, I'm afraid. So if you do want to watch it, obviously go over to the British Swimming live stream, which is happening right now. It's about to kick off, actually. So go over there if you want to watch. But if you want to have us talk about it, then please stay.
Yeah, why not have us side by side? That would be the good option.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice.
Okay, so yesterday we waffled on a lot about a lot of different things in swimming, whereas today we're going to be talking a lot more about the racing. We've got research books full. We've done our work today.
Well, I think we really wanted feedback from others, and we made our own feedback as well. And we found that we actually didn't talk too much about the racing, so we're going to really stick to the racing today.
Yeah.
Rather than waffle on about future meets and all the rest of it. And so we're gonna stick to the game plan. We have notes and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep live with the events, and then obviously during the meet there is a break halfway through, at which point we will kind of review yesterday's swimming, review the races that's happened so far, and we're also going to take a little break for ourselves and come back for that later session in the evening. But to kick things off, we have the 400 meters freestyle. No.
Individual medley.
Individual medley. There we go.
I thought you wrote this down.
I have. I got ahead of myself. So we have 400 individual medley. Fortunately, it's a very limited field. There's only 4 swimmers in this.
Yes, 4 swimmers entered, and 4 swimmers ultimately make the final, of which they all were slightly off their entry times from this morning. So I'm kind of hoping they can get near those entry times. Would be pretty nice. If I'm going to pick one swimmer to watch out for, would be Freya Colbert.
Yeah.
In one of the middle lanes.
PB out of the field. She's gone 4:43.5. I think the nearest rival to that is a 4:50. So you think she is probably the class of the field, and she is only 17.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and they have just kicked off actually. So I'm expecting a pretty steady fly. And then I remember from this morning they did take off. When I say they, I mean Lily Booker and Freya Colbert. They did take off on a backstroke and breaststroke legs. So I'm expecting the same sort of things that happen now.
Yeah. So if anyone isn't aware of a 400 IM, it is a bit like a chess match. We spoke on the Propulsion Swimming podcast to Hannah Miley, who is the British record holder in the 400 individual medley.
Yeah.
And she loves it because you can be good at one leg and bad at another, and then catch up on another leg. You never really know who's going to finish where until basically the last length of freestyle.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, everyone will have their own strengths, and I'm geared towards breaststroke being the major leg of the IM, just because it's the 100 meters that takes the most amount of time. So if
it's the hardest stroke as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that in your arsenal, then you're bound to have a pretty good IM on you. But yeah, everyone has their own strengths. Phelps's was fly, obviously, and breaststroke was his weakest one. So, and he ends up being one of the best, if not the best IM swimmer ever. So
yeah, I think kind of if you're watching this race right now, the 400 IM, the women's, I mean, Alice Deering took out the 100 fly very strong, and already she's fallen straight to the back of the pack after one length of the backstroke. So that kind of emphasizes that point.
Yes, I mean, exactly. The same thing happened from this morning. The 2 middle lanes have just taken out on the backstroke. And I remember Freya was doing really well on the breaststroke as well. Very smooth breaststroke. So this is where she will start to extend her lead over Lily Booker as well. Both have very nice backstrokes, so it makes no surprise. Yeah, no surprise that they're actually extending their lead. from the
It
other two
almost
girls.
looks like there's not put in too much effort in at all, but I'm sure they are.
Oh, I'd have thought so. Yeah. I mean, I was always taught terribly, actually, to keep it steady on the fly and then sort of rest on the backstroke to get through the next half of the race, which is the wrong thing to do. I
Yeah.
actually think you need to build that backstroke, just like the girls are now. Build the backstroke ready for the breaststroke, which is the hardest one.
I tell you what, you can also see the difference a good turn makes.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Wow.
It's becoming more and more vital, isn't it, in the world of swimming?
I mean, even on a long course 400 IM, the turn there, what was it? Freya Colbert went in ahead at the backstroke turn, and she's fallen 4-5 meters behind after one length.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Lily Booker's looking very nice on this breaststroke.
Very good, yeah.
So, yeah, maybe she's the one that's going to be coming through, because the bigger lead you have on the breaststroke, the more likely you're going to win this race, because the freestyle is it's very difficult to catch up on a freestyle.
Yeah, it's usually level, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so they both went around about the same time this morning. They both went 4:53s. Looking at it right now, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Freya's done lots more races. I think she did the 400 free yesterday, didn't she? And I'm pretty sure she did the 200 as well. I think she has pulled out of that final today for the 200 free.
Yeah, I think she has as well.
Just because, I don't know, maybe she's getting tired, or maybe she's saving some for tomorrow's racing. Not sure.
She is only 17, so this meet for her, it probably will be her first experience of going through the heats and getting to every final in every race she does, because like we said at the start of this race, it's a very limited field.
Yeah, I mean, I think we spoke about it yesterday, where it's very difficult to gauge yourself in the race as well when there's so little amounts of swimmers in the race. And it's difficult to self-motivate sometimes, although she's got Lily pushing her on, or trying to push her on now. It's very difficult. It's much better when you've got swimmers all around you at the same sort of time and speed. But yeah. Lily's
so we're
doing very well.
In the last 25 meters, aren't we?
Looking very strong. I mean, what's the time now? 4:30? Yeah.
Her PB's 4:50. So you're going to be getting close to that now.
No, she's going to PB if that's the case then. If her PB is 4:50, she's got a massive PB based off this. What's this? 4:44? Wow. Awesome swim. So Freya's actually done a really good job herself, going 4:50, so 3 seconds quicker than this morning. But Lily's just swam out of her skin there. Awesome
looks
swim.
like it, yeah.
But of course, it's the breaststroke. Yeah, the breaststroke, of course, was the key. So
it really was, because on the backstroke, it was Freya who was pulling away.
Yes, yeah. In fact, they all went under 5 minutes. That's nice to see. So Alice went about 6-7 seconds quicker, 5 seconds quicker for Isabel Goodwin. So all in all, that was a pretty good race in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we saw yesterday was a lot of the heat swims were faster than the finals. We thought that was a bit of enthusiasm because it's their first time in the pool. Now a lot of these swimmers will have had their first swim. So the heat swims in the morning probably will be a little bit slower.
Potentially, yes. I mean, I think the adrenaline may have worn off a little bit because of that. But at the same time, they're now getting into their stride. Their bodies are taking over from what they normally do in training, you know. So it's not much thinking going behind it. It's just the normal routine for them now.
Yeah. So the next race of the day is the men's 50-meter backstroke. And again, this is rather disappointingly quite a reduced field.
I don't know if it's because there's no 50 meters at the Olympics, so swimmers are thinking, and coaches, of course, are thinking, well, what's the point doing it? And only 3 swimmers is a real shame. But that must be part of the reasoning. There's no point entering the 50 meters when what's the point? You're just going to get a time for no reason. So it's a shame.
But again, it should be a very good race. All of them this morning hit basically the same time. They were all 26 seconds.
Yeah, 26 seconds for all of them. I haven't got their PBs. You've got their PBs, but if we can get close to that 25-second mark,
this morning they were all around their PB mark.
Oh, would they? Oh, that's good. That's good. So if they can go faster again, it may build up good experience, because the oldest one is Jacob Peters, who's 21, and that's not old, especially on the male side. Anyway,
not for sprinting, yeah.
So if I were to pick here, I'd probably go for Jacob Peters, who was the fastest out of the 3. I just think he's a little bit stronger than the other 2. That's all. Although I do think Jonathan Adam, I'm sure he's gone 26-1 before. I'm sure of it.
Well, so is Charlie Brown.
Ah, really? Okay.
Charlie Brown's gone 26-1 as well.
Okay, so they're all the same speed.
They should
basically
all be aiming for low 26, I would have thought, for this race.
Yeah, so if you're a 50-meter swimmer, you weren't a backstroker, but you're a 50-meter swimmer. So what would you be concentrating on for this race right now as these three?
Well, for a 50 backstroke, it would be your start. That's the most important thing, and that's where you can lose the most time, especially if anyone who has swam backstroke will know slipping on that block. I know now they've got the backstroke starting ledge that they put
the
in
ledges,
the water. So slipping's a bit rarer these days, but you still need to get that good entry point when you throw your arms back. And the underwater phase is really important. Even over a 50 meters, I think that makes a difference, especially backstroke. Backstroke is the stroke where you want to last as long under the water as you can.
Well, you'll see it later on with Joe Litchfield in the 100 free. He turned first after the first 50 ahead of Matt Richards, which is incredible just because of his start. So hopefully, I'm in my mind, you're right. Whoever has the best start here will ultimately win this race.
Yeah, basically, because it is a blanket field. They are within 0.5 of each other in a 50. That it sounds like a big margin, and usually it is. But when there's only 3 of you swimming, it's not going to look that bigger amount.
Good clearance over the water from all of them, and it's all about the underwaters. And it turns out it's Jacob Peters. Oh, maybe slightly further than 15 meters for Jonathan Adam there. Not sure.
I'll tell you what, I have never seen that actually judged.
No, nor have I. And I swear there's been a few times at the major meets where I think, oh, that looks as though it's gone past 15 meters.
So it looks like Jonathan Adams is just coming through. Again, like we said, it is going to be a blanket finish between the 3 of them.
Oh, look at that. Jacob Peters ended up in 3rd.
Wow. So he's gone slightly slower than this morning, and the other 2 have ended up going faster. So maybe what happened was, I think, slipping water in sprinting. That's the main thing.
Possibly.
So Jacob Peters was ahead at 25, and I would have thought he just started slipping water, and then that's how the other 2 came back.
Well, I think we said this yesterday. You can't make any mistakes on the 50, and he looked like he nailed the start, and I thought he was going to go on to win it. And obviously, the stroke wasn't catching as much water as he needs to, which means propulsion goes down, and then ultimately speed was reduced. So unfortunately for him, 27.4 is quite a long way off where he was this morning. It's nearly a second, which is a shame. But good swims on the other 2 though, Jonathan Adam and Charlie Brown. Good swims from them.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our first para event of the evening. And this is your wheelhouse. You got sent away to do some research after yesterday's show. Have you come prepared?
Slightly. It's so confusing. We need a para expert to come onto this, because we were asked yesterday about the point system and how it's all worked. And honestly, I was looking through it for a good hour today, trying to work it out, and they gave me some weird formula, which
there was some proper maths equation there, wasn't there?
Blew my mind. But I think in summary, it's something to do with the world record. So if you're, however close you are to the world record, the more points you get. And
so this is the para points system that we're talking about.
Yes, yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the way I was reading it. I think if you get 1,000 points is the world record, I think. And then anything below that, you then obviously reduces down. But I need to be taught this from an expert para.
I'll tell you what, if anyone does know better than Dan, probably not hard. Why not leave a comment in the chat of this video, and we can put it up on the live stream. We can let people know the exact way that para swimming is scored.
That would be nice, actually. That would be nice. So in this race, in this race, there's only 3 again, unfortunately, but we have to do what we got to do. Lyndon Longhorn is the record holder, the British record holder in the S5 category.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. And then we also have the British record holder for the S14 and Jordan Catchpole, the lane under, in lane 4, sorry. And in lane 5, we've got Rhys Davis, who's also an S14 swimmer. So there should be a close race between the 2 S14 swimmers. There's only, I think it's 0.5, 0.6 in it between them. And then, of course, Lyndon will come in at the back. But I'm paying special attention to Jordan Catchpole, because I do think he's going to better his record here. I think his current record is 28.6. He went 29.4 this morning, But fingers crossed, I think he might do it.
Yeah, I was following your live tweeting this morning on our Twitter feed, and you've been bigging him up over the past 2 days. You've been impressed.
I've been him and Jonathan Booth have impressed me quite a lot. Both of them have done really well. So fingers crossed. And of course, Lyndon might. He was slightly off the pace this morning with his time. So it would be a pretty big ask for him to get anywhere near his British record. But we'll see.
It is good to see para swimmers swimming with the elite still, that they've got the opportunity to stay in the water.
Yes.
I mean, we said it a lot yesterday.
Rightly so. They should be treated the same. They should be treated the same. So they earn more medals than us. So when I say us, I say that the able-bodied swimmers, so they have to be on a higher pedestal than us, really.
Definitely.
So we've got a solid start here from Catchpole into the last 15 meters. He's looking pretty good, actually. Body's quite high. The tempo's still going.
Time he's aiming for here?
So his British record is 28.6. Oh, he's going to be close. Oh, slightly off. 28.9 in the end.
Just.
Rhys Davis. Go on, Karen.
And you can see to the left-hand side of their finishing times, that is the score that we are trying to figure out.
Yes. Yeah. That's the I couldn't even.
It's very much like for the able-bodied swimmers who are watching, if you have swam a meet, you will be given a FINA points. And I know most swimmers will have looked at these and would have gone, okay, that's a high number, but I don't think many people really know what it means. No.
I'd never understood it either. I just assume, again, the closer you are to the world record, I think is based off that.
Yeah.
But a good swim from Rhys Davis there, 0.1 quicker than this morning. Jordan Catchpole, very close to that British record. I thought he'd do well. He looks like he's on form. And Lyndon was half a second slower than this morning as well. But still good swims, good experience for them all. So hopefully it builds that momentum for the later races.
Yeah. And now, coming up next, we have probably mine and yours favorite event. I think this is one of the ones we're really looking forward to tonight.
This one and one more, but this one probably it's close. I think this one topples the other one. This one's probably the one to look out for. This is
so it's the women's 200 meters freestyle. And in lane 4, I would say is one of the brightest kind of futures for British swimming in Freya Anderson. She is only 20. It's kind of stunning that she's still that young.
Only 20, and she just looks very very powerful in the water. You know what I mean? So every stroke that she does, she looks so strong. The body positions in the water is high, which is probably the reason why she's quick. Makes no errors on anything. She reminds me a little bit of Sarah Sostrom. So she's not she's not the best starter. She's not the best turner. But when it comes to the water and the swim speed, she's just right up there with some of the best in the world.
And she's one of the best relay swimmers, as we found out at ISL.
Yes, thank God she's British. That really helps us.
We have 3 swimmers here though who swim under 2 minutes.
Yes, Abby Wood is on fire,
and then Holly Hibbert as well.
Yeah. So if we go with Abby Wood first, obviously she was one of the most formed swimmers out of the whole of the ISL. Actually, she's more suited to the IMs. That's her favourite event, but she did really well in the breaststroke yesterday. Even Molly Renshaw was close to she equaled the British record yesterday. Abby Wood was only 0.5, 0.6 off it. Yeah, not known as an actual full out breaststroker, but more of an IMer. And now she's proving it here doing freestyle as well.
Well, I think it's Dave Hemmings is on fire. His swimmers are absolutely killing it right now. So you've got Abby Woods. I think Molly Renshaw's in that squad as well. You've got Joe Litchfield. Yeah. They're all doing really, really well. And they are this kind of next crop of British swimmers coming through. And I think what you'll notice from a lot of his swimmers is the focus on that underwater. Yes. And you'll see that from Abby Wood. She had a contrasting style this morning to Freya Anderson. She spends a lot of the time underwater.
Yes, correct. I think Dave Hemmings does a lot of technical stuff. So when I say technical, it is the starts and the turns, and then the swim speed kind of comes along with that, I guess. But But the three middle lanes here of Holly, Freya, and Abby are the ones to watch here. Freya does have the larger or the better PB by, I think it's a good like 3 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah,
Something
it is.
like that.
It's a good 3-4 seconds. So she has gone a 1:56. The British record is a 1:55.
Yes.
So I don't think she'll get near that at this meet, but come Tokyo, I think she's got a very good chance.
Yes, yeah. Well, what you want to watch now is the Abby Wood start, because she will be half a body length ahead, I'm sure, just off the first 15 meters. And
there you go. She spent ages underwater.
So she spends the whole 15 meters under the water, and it gives her such a massive advantage, and straight away puts the other swimmers under pressure. So they're the ones.
These have gone to the legs quite early.
Well, this is what I would do. I would class 200 free as a sprint.
You do, don't you?
So I would be going out fast as well. I mean, it hurts doing it that way, but I think that's the best way to do it. It's the best way. You know, I was learning that from Ian Thorpe. Not that he taught me personally.
Well, he said it in an interview the other day, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was a few months ago. He said that the 200 free right now is being swam wrong by everyone.
Yeah, and of course it's just looking at Abby Woods here. The stroke rate is high, the tempo is quick, and she's straight in the lead and putting pressure. And of course, Holly Hibbert, she's a strong swimmer, is being made to look quite average at the moment, but she will come back at the end. Freya Anderson will as well. She's a back end swimmer, so expect Freya Anderson to come through. But it's whether Abby Wood can hold on to this pace. That's the big question.
I think she's a bit of an unknown in these events, isn't she?
Who, Abby?
Because she has been targeting the IM races more traditionally over the past few years, but at ISL she did the 100 free and set a really good time for the New York Breakers in the relay, and ended up sticking at that. And obviously she's found some form in other events other than individual medley. Well,
it's a good thing she's trying these events out, because she's now putting Freya Anderson under real pressure. That last turn was insane.
Massive turn.
Still half a body length ahead. Freya Anderson's got it all to do here. And will she come back? She is.
She usually does finish really strong in the last 50. Sometimes you watch her swim and you think, have you got more in the tank there? Could you have gone earlier?
Yeah, this is where I don't like the tactic of holding off until the end, because now you can see Abby Wood is really struggling. She's trying to get there. Will Freya get there? It's going to be close. And Abby Wood holds. What a
monster PB.
What a massive swim.
Monster. That's almost a 2-second PB.
Wow. Well, there you go.
So Abby Wood has gone 1:57.96. That is huge.
That is a very good swim. And actually, there's a lot of other good swims around the pool as well. Tamarind Van Silm has also gone pretty good. She did the same sort of time this morning. Just all round, great swim. Yeah, 1:57.96. Whoa, that's good.
Does Abby Wood now go to Tokyo as that 200 swimmer alongside Freya Anderson? I think so.
Well, she's definitely, in my opinion, she's definitely going for the 4x2 relay.
Yep,
she has to now. In fact, the top 3 in that race there are probably going based for the relay. I would have thought Freya will get better as the season goes on. I would have thought. But wow, 1:57.9. That is a monster swim.
To improve your PB by 2 seconds, I think that just shows the work that they are putting in with Dave Hemmings right now. She had some big PBs at 2020 ISL. I mean, she's just following the form book, really.
Well, you just have to look at her turns. Her turns won that race.
Very American.
It is very American, and Americans do it right. They've always done it right. That's the reason why they're the best country in the world at swimming. And Dave Hemmings has obviously noticed that. I think everyone noticed that anyway, but he's actually implementing it into the his swimmers training. And just to have half a body length off the start and off the last turn.
Yeah, it's impressive. It was that was a really impressive swim. Probably one of the best I've seen so far this meet.
I would say so. I mean, when you think about it, so she's gained half a body length off the start and half a body length off the turn. So Freya Anderson's had to make up a body length just on the swimming phase.
Yeah.
Which is really, really hard to do. She almost did it, but really, really hard to do. This is the reason why I think you need to go out fast on a 200.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I think one thing you notice from the top end of 200 swimming is that the swim speed is actually the same for a lot of these swimmers.
Majority of, yes.
So the difference is made on the turns, the starts, which it kind of goes under the radar, but that's the reason Ryan Lochte was so successful at a 200 free. That's the reason Michael Phelps is so successful. All they have to do is keep pace on the water. They don't have to beat anyone else because they beat them under the water, and that was just proven there by Abby Wood.
Well, one of your favorite races was Phelps at Beijing, where he won after the start. You know, you were banging on about that all day.
Oh, that's a monster
for ages. In fact, probably still now. It's like 13 years later, but still.
Well, you don't rate it. You don't like. I put that as his second best ever swim.
Oh, I do rate it. Oh, no, it was an awesome swim. But like you said, the swim speed of him and the rest of the swimmers in the water for that race were the same. He won that from the start and the other 2 turns. And that's the reason why he won by, I think, what was it, 2.5, 3 body lengths in the end. And Abby Wood was trying to do the same thing, but Freya Hansen's got a very quick swim speed, and that's the reason why she caught up. But if Freya Hansen was able to have the underwater that Abby has, whoa.
Yeah, definitely.
We'd have a superstar on our hands. I mean, she still might be a superstar, so we'll see.
Okay, so the next event in the water is the men's 200 IM.
Yes, you were looking forward to this as well, weren't you?
I was, because this morning's times are very, very close. We've got like a 205, a 204, a 202, a 203, a 205. It could be a very close field. However, Joe Litchfield on paper is a good 2 seconds faster than everyone else. And his brother has the British record as well. So it's kind of, it runs in the family. It's a good event for them.
Am I right in saying that he's the only one that's gone under 2 minutes in the last 12 months? I feel like that might be the case.
I believe so.
Yeah.
In terms of the Brits in the field, yes.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think he's going to go sub 2. I actually think he looks a little bit tired, Joe Litchfield.
Okay.
He didn't look too convincing in yesterday's swims. I think, what was it, the 50 fly? No, the 100 fly, sorry.
He started off strong in a lot of them, but then kind of faded away.
And then fades away. And I don't know if that's because of the training he's currently going through. No idea, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that he goes close to that 2 minute mark.
Yeah, even that would be a good time.
Even a 2:01, I think, would be a pretty good time here. But he's another example of a fantastic start and how much damage it can do to the rest of the field. So looking forward to that. His biggest rival for this race is Vizeos from Greece.
Yep.
I don't know what's his PB.
I couldn't find it because he's not on the British records.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
But obviously he trains in Loughborough as well.
Yes, yeah. And of course, you've got a little bit of a dark horse. I say a dark horse, but in Luke Greenbank. So he's going to be up there for the first 50 meters. No, sorry, first half 100. Of the race. Yes, because I think he's doing a slight tactic of sprinting the fly, maxing the backstroke to help him improve on his backstroke, and then holding on. Yes, yeah. He's quite strong at front crawl.
His PB is 205, so he shouldn't be quite competing with those top 2.
No, and his breaststroke isn't the strongest. I don't know if you watched it from this morning. His breaststroke's not the strongest, but the other 3 strokes are pretty good.
So this race is due to start in 5 minutes. We've got a bit of time. So we have a comment in the comment section.
Oh, yeah.
British Swimming's 4x200 free relay team, if they go to Tokyo, because it's not confirmed that they are selecting a relay team for the 4x2. Is that the team that you would go with? Freya, Abby, Holly, and Siobhan Marie O'Connor?
For me right now, definitely taking Freya and Abby. I think I'd be taking Holly. Siobhan is a swimmer that's
it's a bit unknown right now.
Well, yeah, she was very good before. I mean, silver medalist at Olympics, very good. But she hasn't really shown too much form as of late in the last couple of years, actually. I'd like to be taking her to Olympics because I think she's got the Olympic pedigree, the experience. I think she's quite a good racer as well, actually. As of right now, yes, they would be the 4 I take. For the 2 to be individuals, it'd be right now Freya and Abby.
Yeah, I do hope they take a relay team for the 4x2 because a lot of those swimmers, Freya, Abby, Holly, they're all under, 21, 22?
I think Holly might be slightly older, but yes, they are young.
Holly Hibbert's 22, Abby Wood's 22, Freya Anderson 20. So it's good experience for them to get in a very competitive field for that sort of relay, isn't it? Because the Americans are going to be extremely strong. And the more 200 frees, the more 200 frees that you race, the better.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we've got a selection policy of only taking 30 swimmers. I think that might be the case for every country, which could pose a problem. So, of course, 2 of those relay members will have to be on the individual. Otherwise, we can't take a relay team. We can't have. I don't think America can do what they normally do and take 8 swimmers for the relay.
There is special compensation to take extra relay swimmers as reserves outside of that number.
Right.
I
Okay.
think it's only 2 though per relay, if I remember correctly.
So that'll be interesting. Actually,
we will do some more research before British trials and make sure we
Yes.
know that one.
Yeah, because if that is the case, then America can't do what they always do and rest their entire final team.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting.
Okay, so the 200 IM is now on. It's ready to go. Or they're coming up behind the blocks.
Yes.
We've done the prep for this already.
I know.
We went too early.
So how would you're not a sprinter or anything like that, or sorry, you're not a 200 swimmer or an IM swimmer, but how would you attack this race?
I think I'll probably take it out hard. I always like to be ahead. I don't like to do the catch-up work, especially with breaststroke on the cards.
Yeah, I mean, I've always gone with the phrase "fast but steady" on the fly. So fast but steady on the fly, and then build in the arm stroke, the stroke rate on the backstroke, and then survive on the breaststroke because I can't do breaststroke.
Yeah, our coach always used to call it easy speed.
Yes, easy speed. That's right. Yeah.
So just working on that stroke, but not really pushing it too much.
So
that is when you
hit the start here. Sorry, check the start from Joe Litchfield. He's going to do exactly the same as what Abby did earlier. Oh, not as strong. So
well, you say that he's got Luke Greenbank there as well, who is going out hard, like you said, on the fly and backstroke.
Yes, yeah,
and he's a backstroker, so he has good underwater as well.
That's very true. Yes, I mean, I'm not surprised that Luke is. I'm maybe a little bit surprised that he's this far ahead, actually. But I'm not surprised that he's leading the first 50, and it won't surprise me at all that he leads from the second 50 as well. But check his breaststroke. It's not not the prettiest, and that's where Joe will come through. So, but you have to check it out.
That is usually what wins any IM race, isn't it? Is the breaststroke leg. You win or lose it there.
Yeah, the breaststroke is the most important one. Yeah. So that's the way I would swim it. Is the breaststroke is so important. You do kind of have to max the breaststroke, and then whatever you've got less on the front crawl, then that's what you're going to do.
Now, the 200 IM it's an interesting event for British swimming because there's a lot of swimmers that can do it, isn't there?
There is. We one of my friends.
A lot of them not in this field either.
Yeah, well, one of my friends, Zav Costelli, obviously, he's gone 201. It's a shame he's not here, actually, because I think he would be putting in quite a bit of a performance. But 201 is what he's done the last 12 months, which is good, which is actually really good. I think his PB is maybe a 2-minute 0.9, something along those lines. So he's on form. But there you go. See, Luke's been caught up on the breaststroke now, but he's actually holding off quite well. Actually.
But then, as you can see in the comments section, we've also got Duncan Scott, Tom Dean, both Litchfield brothers. It's a deep event. Stacked. It's a deep event.
I mean, it all comes down to when trials come along. It's the top 2. Whoever is good on that day is going to Tokyo. So yeah, so a lot of pressure on them.
It does look like the Brits are going to get beaten here.
Quite possibly.
Joe's coming back strong, mind.
Yeah. Ooh, 201. Good swims all around. Is that a PB for Luke Greenbank as well?
That is a big PB.
Well,
that's almost a 2-second PB.
Interesting. It looks like you're getting rewarded for being brave. The faster you go out.
There's a few PBs across the board here in the bottom lanes. Gregory Butler and Cameron Brooker, they both went new PBs. Before they were 208s, they've both gone 207, 206.
Yeah.
Some very impressive swims.
I wouldn't want to be an IMer right now because you're guaranteed your position, your selection isn't guaranteed to be going to the Olympics. So, but it's good. We need this depth. I was saying about our backstroke as well. Our backstroke is looking pretty good as well.
Yeah, very strong.
Which is what we need for the medley relay if we're going to combat or compete with the Americans.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good there actually. Pleasantly surprised. Good.
I wonder if Luke Greenbank taking it out that strong dragged along a lot of the swimmers.
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, he was in. Vezeos was in the right lane there because he stayed on his hip and shoulder, didn't he, the entire way? And I was unsure if Litchfield was able to see him that far. Maybe if they swap lanes, the outcome might be different. But who knows? So what's next then?
We have the Para 200 IM, which has another one of your swimmers to look out for.
Yes, Jordan Catchpole's back in the water. So there's no British record holders in this race. So they've got times to aim for. So for the S9, the British record is 2:19. Sorry, yeah, S9 is 2:19. So Jacob Leach is slightly off that. And then the British record for the S14 is 2:08, which again, they're quite far off. But I don't think it's their speciality. It's just a case of getting in the water, getting the race experience. Because when's the next time they're going to swim? It's going to be this meet, trials, and then Olympics. So it's going to be a 3-year meet, a 3-meet year.
A
3-year meet. Wow.
From what we know of, so we did a podcast with Matt Richards, and there is quietly a lot going on behind the scenes with British Swimming. They are trying to put a lot more events like this together for athletes to keep race sharp. And a lot of the elite swimmers right now are going into the mindset of we're trained for keep training. We are targeting Tokyo, but we have to be ready if there's a meet next weekend, basically.
Yeah.
They're in the mindset of there could be a race anytime.
Well, it depends. From the elite side of it, they'll have first knowledge, so they'll be ready to prepare. It's the other clubs, the other swimmers that won't have that pre knowledge, you know.
Well, those swimmers aren't in the water right now.
No, exactly.
I hate to say it, but most of the field that you're seeing today, bar the one or two who are elite swimmers, but obviously are missing, like your Duncan Scotts and your Zav Costelli. I think there's a lot of Welsh swimmers who aren't here.
And Scottish.
Other than that, this is probably the pool of swimmers that British Swimming are picking from for the Olympics. I doubt it goes outside of these swimmers.
More than likely, it's going to go to these swimmers, I would have thought, because these are the best in the country. These are the elites of British swimming. You might get a wild card come in at the trials. You never know, because
they've not been in the water.
But true, they haven't been in the water, so they're going to be slightly hindered, aren't they? They're at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah.
So you would have thought that the swimmers that we're seeing here are the ones that are likely to represent us at the Tokyo Olympics.
It's a big shame that not more swimmers are in the water, but at the same time, British Swimming they're losing quite a lot of money by funding the swimmers that are currently in the water, because at Bath Uni there's 24 swimmers, 3 squads of 8, and they are opening a 50-meter pool day in, day out, funding that pool to be run. And you look at a swimming pool, the electricity bill is not cheap.
No, the heating of the pool is the main thing. And obviously, you have to keep it chlorinated the whole time. You can't just let it go, because then green stuff will start growing, the algae. And
so for just 24 swimmers to keep this open, it's a big deal. It's a good job to keep these swimmers in the water. But again, it's a shame that more of the clubs are kind of out of the water right now, but that's completely out of our hands.
No, I mean, it's not going to be, it's the same for every country, I would have thought. I think we've obviously, the virus is pretty bad in this country, but it's the same pretty much everywhere else. So a lot of swimmers won't be in the water other than the elite ones. So everyone's in the same boat. It's just the way we have to, depends how these countries deal with it, really. And as from what we're seeing, we're doing quite well. British Swimming are funding really quite nicely. So we can't complain about it too much, really.
Not really, no. Okay, so who is your favorite for this race? Because we have 2 S14 swimmers in the water.
Yeah, so of course the S9 swimmer in Jacob Leach is going to be slightly behind, but the S14s should be a close race, actually. So there was only a 2-second difference between them this morning. But Jordan Catchpole is on form, so I wouldn't bet against him right now.
I think he's your favorite swimmer of the meet.
Quite possibly. Yeah, quite possibly. And he's taken it out of hard now, so I wouldn't bet against him. So he went 2 seconds slower than Dylan Broom this morning. But if I'm going to be choosing, it'd be Jordan right now. But we'll see. I want to cheer everyone on. I don't want to cheer just the one on.
I was going to say, I feel like there's a bit of recency bias there.
No.
Jordan has already raced today as well, though.
Yes, that's true. Only a 50, though, mind.
Compete.
Only a 50, so that could be a warm-up one for him.
You say that.
It gets you in the water. I mean, he's leading right now, so maybe doing that earlier swim works. Because I remember I was always the freestyler, so I'd always aim for the 100, 200, and 400. And if there was a 50-meter race before all of those races, I would do it. Right. Because it gets the cobwebs out, it gets you in the water, it gets your mind in the right mindset. And it's obviously worked for Jordan here, although he's raced yesterday, obviously, so his mind is in the game.
Yeah.
But he's looking really good quite now at the moment.
He is. We will see if there is any major changes on the breaststroke leg, because like we've been saying for the past 5-6 minutes, this is the leg that turns things around.
Yes, well, Dylan looks like he's a breaststroker, so this is where he then catches up, and then it all comes down to, because it looks like they may touch at the same time. Maybe Jordan holds him off, actually. It's all going to come down to a drag race on the last 50 meters on this front crawl.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it, actually? And up there in lane 3, Jordan Leach is looking pretty decent as well.
Pretty strong. Yeah, looking strong.
2:19 is a British record for that. Wow, that was an insane record. I'm not even sure I went 2:19 for 200 IM.
No, I definitely didn't. Anything over 100 meters was not my forte.
I think I went 2:16 or something like that, but still amazing.
I'll tell you what, this is a hell of a finish again. We've seen a lot of close races already so far today.
It's just a shame that the whole pool isn't full, you know?
Yeah, it is, but this is the hand we've been dealt with. And
wow,
I'll tell you what, your predictions has come true. Well done.
2:19.2. That's a 4-second drop off from this morning. Awesome.
Very impressive.
And then 2 seconds for Dylan as well. I'll tell you what, we're doing quite well this on day 2 of this finals, aren't we?
We are. You got your predictions right. I tell you what, that day of research before today's live stream is paying off.
Well, I feel like I wasted a day trying to find out the point system, but I still don't have the answer for that.
Okay, so we have one more event now before the mid-session break.
Yep.
It is the women's 100 backstroke, both able-bodied and para swimmers.
Yes.
So again, unfortunately, this isn't a full field, but we do have a few big names in here.
Well, Georgia Davis obviously is the biggest name. She's headlining the race, if you like, if that's the wording you want to use. I remember listening to a commentary this morning, and he was sort of saying he's Georgia's renowned for a back end speed on 100. And I just thought
she's a 50 swimmer, isn't she?
That's not correct at all. Yeah, she is a 50-meter swimmer. She's going to take it out hard from the beginning and then just hold on. That's pretty much what she's going to do. But I'm liking the swimmer, Honey Osrin.
Yeah,
Plymouth Leander. She's 18. She went 63.02 this morning.
PB 62.2.
Yeah, she might give Georgia a bit of a run for money. I mean, I expect Georgia to win, but if these young guns, Chloe Golding, of course, on the other side of her, they can give her a close running, that'll be pretty good. 62 low would win this race, I would have thought.
You think?
I would have thought so. Yeah.
I think this is a closer than you think.
Yeah.
Go at times this morning. There's only 2 and a bit seconds separating them, and on PBs there's a few of them who have gone 101 and below. So Lauren Cox down in lane 6 from Coventry, she's gone a 101.4. Chloe Golding has gone a 101.2. I mean,
so you think it's going to be wide open, do you?
I wouldn't say wide open, because Georgia Davis PB is a 59. I don't think she's going sub-minute. However, she is the class of the field. She's got experience on her side. But I think these younger swimmers coming through can easily give a good race and a good account of themselves.
I mean, Georgia's quite good at the start. If you take a look at her start, her underwater work is, I'd probably say, up there with some of the best in the world, actually.
That would be her
backstroke
coach.
Starters. Yeah. So if the girls, the younger girls on the outside lanes around her, if they can keep up with her on the start and take away her bigger strength, if that makes sense. Then we got a real race on our hands here.
We do.
I still think Georgia will be winning this race, but it's not going to be as big a margin as maybe I'm making out it's going to be.
No, and I think the time might be a little bit faster. I don't think it'd be a 102. I think we're thinking a 101 to win this.
Do you reckon? What, high 101?
Yeah, let's say that. Let's go safe. Just in case it's a 102, then I've covered my back a bit.
I remember doing 100 backstroke when I was younger, and I honestly thought that this was the worst race, long course, because my legs at the end were so full of lactic. It's really hard because, of course, it's 100 meters, so you have to sprint from the very beginning. There's no pacing involved. You're bombing it from the beginning. And of course, the last 10, 15, even 25 meters, I was surviving just because of my arms, my stroke rate, but my legs were just fading meter after meter. So credits to there's got to be a lot of kicking done in training to do a good strong 100 backstroke.
Okay, so the race is starting in a second. Let's see if they do manage to keep up with Georgia Davies in that first kind of 15, 25 meters.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be pretty surprised if they're level after 25 meters.
Well, she is a 50 swimmer, isn't she?
Yes, yeah. So I would expect Georgia to be out first 25, but here we go. Oh, we have, yes. Chloe Golding's got a good underwater.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent, good.
Okay, so they have kept up. So
yeah.
I think this might be a closer race than you think.
Possibly. We still have another turn, mind you. And so if we can keep up on it, it looks like we're competing against Georgia Davis, which we're not.
It's good to see a swimmer still going, really, because she's 31 now and she still is one of the best swimmers out there for British swimming.
She's got every chance of winning an Olympic medal for the for the 100 backstroke. I was going to say the 50 for
Unfortunately, there's not a 50 back at the Olympics.
I know. I meant the worlds or commies, or something like that. She's got every chance of medaling every year. Just
I tell you what, she's pulling away very strong now. Very strong.
Yeah, maybe she is known for her backhand speed. Then maybe we're wrong. Maybe
if everyone thinks Dan's wrong, comment in the.
She's fading now. So it's close.
Whoa.
Oh, so you were kind of you were right. 101.9. Yeah, there you are. You covered your bases.
that last 10 meters was, I hate to say it, dreadful.
Maybe she was listening to me. What I was saying with my experience and my legs just drowning.
That looked like the end of a 200 fly. She definitely went hard for the first 75 and paid for it.
Well, she got the job done. She went quicker than she went this morning by 0.1, 0.2.
0.2,
yeah. Good swims all around, though. I was expecting 62, so, Honey went 1 second quicker.
Yeah. In fact, that's a new PB.
Is it a new PB? Well, that's great.
I believe so. Awesome. Or she's right on her PB there, which is all you can expect for in a February meet.
Yes. Oh God, yeah. Especially being 18, it's always good when you're racing the best swimmers in the world when you can compete with them and basically just follow them. You're gonna hit PBs all day long.
Yeah, and Sophie Freeman as well in lane 2. She's nearly equaled her PB as well. So that's a very good swimmer all round by all swimmers.
Yeah, I tell you what, they've turned up now. Actually, today seems to be a bit of a better day. It wasn't as
faster day.
It wasn't as good yesterday. Maybe because it was maybe
first day back.
They're used to their surroundings now. They know the process of all the cleaning on poolside for all the COVID measures.
Yeah,
so they know everything that's going on. They know the cool room procedure. Maybe that's what it is. But good swimming. So is it?
I'll go with that reason.
Yeah, do you reckon?
Yeah.
I mean, I would feel comfortable knowing how it all works. It's all a bit unknown the first meet, isn't it? Or the first day, sorry.
Yeah.
So maybe they're all a little bit more used to it now and settled down. Maybe no one's quite on edge, But
okay, so we got one more race before the break, and again with the para swimmers, there's only 2 swimmers in the pool, and they're not the same discipline, so we are likely to see another slightly uneven race.
Well, you say that. Well, yes, but they are separated by 6 seconds based on this morning's swims.
Okay.
So it's slightly closer than you think. But, I mean, Hannah Russell's S12 and then Katie Crowhurst is S13.
Okay, so that answers my question.
Okay, so they're the closest they could be in terms of categories, and rather than being the exact same category. Hannah Russell, as far as I believe, is the record holder, the British record holder for this race. 106.06 is the time that she's gone.
And what time did she go this morning?
112.7 this morning.
Okay, so some way off.
Some way off, but at the same time, Jordan Catchpole was some way off on his swims this morning. And then to be swimming tonight, he is now. Go on.
How hard do you reckon it is when you are the only swimmer, basically, in your heat? You're getting to that final. What would you do in terms of preparation for a major meet? So if you're at this event, would you take it easy in those first morning heats, knowing that you've got that final later on and then try and hit that really fast time? Or would you try and in your head replicate what it's going to be like at World Champs? You're going to have to go fast in that morning session to get through. Is that what kind of the strategy that you would follow?
wouldn't understand going slow in the heats. I don't understand what you're trying to gain from that. If
Okay.
you're at the Olympics, then yes, by all means, go slow as you can, if you like, in the heats to save your energy for the final. But
as long as you're getting through to the final.
as long as you're getting through, obviously, of course.
Yeah.
But for this sort of meet, I'd be maxing it every time I'm in the water.
Yeah.
To find out where you are, try different tactics out. Go fast for the first length this morning, and then build it on the second length in the afternoon. Something like that, just to change it up. But I would be going max effort all of the time. So there is a slight separation here. So Hannah Russell has taken it out.
Yeah. Well, it's as expected.
Yeah. Oh, the clock is really weird at the bottom. Oh, they've got rid of the graphic now.
Another broken clock for day 2. Happened on the first race of day 1.
They were saying it's like an hour 1, an hour 2. Slightly wrong. But she's looking good here, Hannah Russell. Head's nice and still. The body rotation is good. I think the rotation is extremely vital for backstroke. If you find yourself getting flatter and flatter as the race goes on, that means you're not pushing as much water. Your arm pulse not going as deep.
And you do start to snake down the pool as well, don't you?
Yes, yeah. Well, it's just a general loss of power.
Yeah.
So Hannah's finished in 1:10.4. So there you go. So she's gone 2 seconds quicker than she did this morning. So yeah, very good improvement. And Casey's finished in 1:17. So it's 1 second quicker than this morning. So everyone is getting quicker. It's good. So
it's kind of the reverse of what we saw yesterday, where the heats were faster than the finals. Everyone seems to have kind of got back into that normal rhythm of competing, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think rhythm is probably the right word. Momentum, rhythm, all of those sort of words.
Yeah.
It's pretty key at the moment.
Okay.
But yeah.
Right. So that rounds up the first kind of set evening finals. What standout swims have there been for you so far?
From this morning?
No. From this first block of finals.
Oh, from the first block of final. I think we have to say Abby Wood. Yeah, we have to say Abby Wood. It was just, I wasn't expecting that sort of swim. I thought Freya would win by, if her PB's 156, I was expecting like a high 158, which is kind of what she did in the end, but I wasn't expecting
158 flat.
Oh, did she? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So the fact that Abby Wood went quicker than that time, and her PB was, I think, 159.6, something along those lines. It's just a monstrous swim. So she is
impressive.
I suspect she's going to get the headlines tomorrow.
Yes.
But we'll see. We don't know yet.
Happens later on, because Molly Renshaw is going in the 100 breaststroke, and she's another one of Dave Hemming's swimmers in some mighty good form.
And of course, we've got the 50 breaststroke for Adam Peaty as well. Of course, he's going to get some sort of headlines because of the name Peaty. But the one race I'm really looking forward to is the male or the men's 100 front crawl.
100 freestyle, yeah. So we've got 6 swimmers who have hit under 50 seconds. So, and they're all around the same mark in the 49s. There's 148. It's going to be a very, very good race later on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you watched the race this morning, but Matt Richards, he went 50.01, and it looked the most comfortable 50 seconds I think I've ever seen.
Very jealous there.
Really looking forward to seeing him go 45 later on. No, he's
45.
Hopefully, if he goes a high 48, that would be nice. I think his PB's around that sort of area.
48.8, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Realistically, he's going to go, I would say, mid 49, 49.4, 49.5.
Yeah. And then you've got Jacob Whittle as well, who is, I would say, for anyone watching, he is the name to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's unheard of for me to hear a 17-year-old go 49 or sub 50. Just awesome. Is he 17 or is he 16? Either way,
17. He has only just turned 17.
Only just turned 17. So for him to go 49 point just begs the question of where is he going to end up? Because if the world record is 46, he's only 3 seconds off that, and he's got years left in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with kind of sprinting freestyle, the older you get, the stronger you get, and that's where the difference really is made.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that he is the fastest 14-year-old ever to swim 100 front crawl. Faster than Kyle Chalmers was, faster than Dressel was. So maybe, hopefully, expectations don't get to his head, but it doesn't look that way. He's just a monster. And if you watch his swim earlier, he does look very powerful in the water.
Yeah.
And if he gets this old man strength that you bang on about, then
grown man.
Oh, grown man, yeah, right. Once he gets that into his system and starts hitting the gym quite strongly, then wow, expect big things from him. Really looking forward to that race.
Okay, so what me and Dan are going to do now, because the next final is due at 6:55 this evening, me and Dan are going to take a quick 10-minute break. We're going to be back here at 6:45. If you have any questions for us that you want us to answer or kind of debate between ourselves, or we can debate with you guys in the chat, please leave a comment. And then when we come back at 6:45, we will go through them all.
Sounds good. I like
Great
it.
stuff. Okay, well, thank you for everyone who's joined us so far. I hope you're enjoying this kind of alternate coverage and live reactions. It's something new to us at Propulsion Swimming, and we're getting used to it. But something we're hopefully going to do for basically every British swimming meet that's going to happen, no matter how few or how many there are between now and Tokyo.
Yes, well, we still want feedback. We want this to be a communal sort of live feed. So we want everyone to take part, everyone leaving questions, and just have a general debate about who should go to Tokyo or anything to do with swimming, really.
Definitely.
Just building the sport up, a bigger profile is what we want to try and get. That's the whole idea of it.
Okay, so we will have a break now, and we will see you guys in 10, 20 minutes time.
Yep. All right then.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
We're back.
We're back.
No technical difficulties today, Dan.
No, thank God for that. I didn't touch my laptop today.
Okay. If anyone's just joining us, this is the Propulsion Swimming live stream of our reactions for the Manchester International Swim Meet. We've just had a break. The first session of the evening finals is done. Second session is on the way in 10 minutes' time. But before we get into that, we have a few questions to answer.
Yes, what are they? I need to look these up, actually.
So, first question. Who do you think is the most versatile swimmer in GB right now? One for men and one for women.
Oh, for GB, we were talking about this the other day, but we were doing it as a worldwide thing, so the best swimmer, and we chose that as Regan Smith for the female side, didn't we?
Yeah,
for worldwide. But we've always said that Duncan Scott
for the men's. Yeah, Duncan Scott is. I think there are 4-5 events he could very well enter, excluding the relays. It'd be very interesting to see what he does come Tokyo, because he is a very strong favorite for the 200 freestyle. I would say he's right up there.
I think he's got a very strong chance of medaling at Tokyo for the 200 free. But like you say, he's got a great chance of getting to the 200 IM final, maybe even a 400 IM final. He's a very solid flyer as well. So for the male side of it, I would say Duncan Scott. Up for grabs a bit more for the women.
I think this meet has swayed me slightly towards Abby Wood.
I think I have to agree with you.
Right
because, now. Her performance in the ISL was pretty phenomenal as well, and she's just following up all the time with swims that are getting better and better all the time. So we'd have to say Abby Wood for the females.
I very much thought that she was just going to stick with the IMs going into Tokyo. And kind of the start sheets for this meet, I was slightly surprised to see her entering, what was it, the 200 breaststroke yesterday, the 200 free today. She's obviously testing where her fitness is, what events might she do for Tokyo. And she's proven in both of those that she is really up there with the top of British swimming.
I mean, there's a good reason for her to be more versatile than Duncan Scott at the moment. If she's that close to being a British record holder on a 200 breaststroke
and doing the 200 free, that's not a combination that you usually see.
No, not at all. And I mean, she's just beaten Freya Anderson, who's probably she is, isn't she? Our best 200 freestyler.
Not ever, but yes, right now.
Not ever, but right now, currently.
Yeah.
And if she's competing with those sort of people, then geez, yeah, I'd have to say it's Abby Wood right now.
The future's bright. The future really is bright, and both of those names are not overly older. They have a lot of time left in them.
No, they remind me of Michael Andrew, who is really experienced, but he's only 21.
You feel like he's been around forever, and actually, when you look at then the New York Breakers squad, he was the captain, but he's actually one of the youngest there.
Yeah. Insane, isn't it? We were talking to Abby, weren't we? And she was trying to work out, how old is he? Oh God, he's only 21. Yeah, he's actually younger than me. Yeah,
he's been around on the block since he was 14, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah. I mean, breaking all sorts of national records. And actually, I've just written up the rough draft script for our Blackpool breakdown of him. Actually, so yeah, I mean, he's broken. I think I remember seeing him. He's broken about 100 national age group records in America overall.
That is not bad going.
Just awesome, isn't it? Just awesome.
Okay, so next question. What are your guys' favorite ever swimmer?
Oh, we'll start with you. You go first.
This is a tough one because the obvious is Phelps. Is obvious, but I'll leave that one to the side. And actually, my favorite swimmer when I was racing was a GB swimmer, and it was Fran Housel.
Yes,
she was very much kind of my idol when I was swimming. I was a sprinter. I'm not the tallest person in the world. Dan will constantly tell you that if you've watched any of our videos, any of our podcasts.
5'2", yeah.
I'm not 5'2". But she always packed more of a punch than she kind of physically deserved to. And I mean, she's British record holder. She won multiple world golds. She was very, very impressive. And she was kind of my idol when I was swimming. What's your answer?
Well, to follow that up, actually, there's a funny story. One of my first nationals, I qualified for the 200 free, which was the race after the women's 100 free.
Yep.
And of course, Fran was in the first. Fran was in the last heat, and I was in the first heat. So I was the immediate race after her, and she'd just gone the world leading time for the 100 free just literally in my lane. I was there watching her, and I think she went 53, something like that. And my mind was so blown away by that I completely messed up my 200. I think I went like 156. It was
nice experience,
honestly
there
awful. But, to go back to the question, mine is so simple. Just Ian Thorpe.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I mean, it's so the gold hat or the yellow hat with it's dolphin suit, whatever you want it,
shark skin, whatever the myth was,
whatever it is. And I'm a big fan of technique because I bang on about it all the time. And there's no better swimmer ever to have a better freestyle technique than Ian Thorpe. And I just remember seeing him. Of course, he then got overtaken by Phelps because Phelps was obviously amazing. But my favorite swimmer still is Ian Thorpe. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. And this one's quite a hard one. What events do you think will have world records broken in Tokyo? Now, if you haven't had a search through our YouTube channel, before COVID cancelled the Olympics, we actually did this. We did this as a podcast. We broke this down and gave like a long list. And then it must have been just like 2 weeks later, the Olympics got cancelled. And we were like, well, that was a waste of time.
Waste of time, yeah.
So I think it's hard to say right now in the world of swimming because times are a little bit all over the place. You can almost bet on every single race that Caleb Dressel's doing that he's going to break a world record. I still stand by the fact that 53 world record is slightly out of reach just because of the lack of the suit. But I mean, an Olympic final, Manadou next to him, Ben Proud maybe on form. That might be what's needed to take him over that world record.
I think, because I said in the very beginning of that podcast episode, I remember that Dressel's going to do it. I just think he's gonna break that 50 long course. He's done the short course one. I think he's going to be breaking that 50 meter long course record.
Yeah.
That was my first pick. And
are there any others?
Now, at the time when we were recording, I didn't think there was going to be too many. And actually, now that COVID's hit, I think, oh my god, it's going to be even less. But since ISL, I think Lily Kin will be getting that 100 breaststroke.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good shout. And I also think I was going to say Sarah Sostrom as well, but she's just broken her elbow. So I'm not even sure she's going to medal now. But we'll see. I mean, you'd never write her off, but we'll see.
There's McEwen over in Australia who was ripping up trees come the end of December. She was setting some world leading times in, I think it was the 100 back and the 100 fly. She was doing some really impressive times. And then on the men's side, pure of the amount of competition for these events, I think all of the backstroke world records are under threat. Well, maybe not the 200 because that's Aaron Pearsall's monster time,
51, 8 or 9 or something. Just ridiculous.
The 100 backstroke. Honestly, you've got 6 swimmers who could probably win that event, and it's really, really hard to pick between any of them.
That's the one race, well, 2 races I'm looking forward to, the 100 and the 200 backstroke, just because the whole pool, all 8 swimmers could win.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get more exciting than that. That is the one race I'm looking forward to. But going back to world records, Regan Smith is another one.
Yeah, you love her. You love her, don't you?
I just think she's the next female swimmer superstar to overtake Sostrom and Ledecky. I think that's obviously Sostrom and Ledecky. I can't speak. Sostrom and Ledecky are still the top female swimmers, but I think Regan Smith will now.
She is only 19, isn't she? Yeah,
19. Yeah, and I just think she'll overtake not just backstroke. I think she can do an array of strokes.
That's the reason we picked her as our most versatile
swimmer.
I think Katie Ledecky is going to be an interesting one because we haven't seen her for a very long time. At the World Champs in 2019, she was ill. She wasn't at her best. She admitted to that. She was very poorly before all the races.
She pulled out of a lot of races because of that illness, actually.
She did, yeah. She went home early, but
yeah.
If you go on past form, you can't bet against her, and she's broken the world record God knows how many times. I think it's like 14, 15 world records she's broken.
It's ridiculous. I think she's got the top 20 best swims ever in the 800 and the 15.
Yeah, so I think it'd be really, really interesting to see what sort of time she goes now after, 2 years of silence from her? She's been
effectively
quiet.
So how many events then, if you want to go back to the question, how many events would you say? So I'm pretty sure I say pretty sure, but I think Dressel. Every time he gets in the water, you think he's gonna go a world record here. So I reckon 53. 100 fly. Will he do that? I reckon he might just lower that very slightly.
But he's got good competition as well in Milak.
Yes, true. Yeah, although he's more of a 200, but yes, yeah.
And you've got Chad as well.
Chad will push him on. He will do all sorts of core room antics.
Tom
I'm sure.
Tom Shields was impressive at ISL. So there's a lot of competition that can push him to the next level.
Yeah. Who else then?
The 100 back men's. I think that's going to go.
Do you reckon was a Murphy record? So potentially,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it's to one of the two Russians.
Well, how'd you say his name? You're better at it.
Kaleshnikov.
Him, yeah. He's that was such a surprise world record in the ISL.
Monster swim.
But of course, short course is so much different to long course. So if he can pull off that sort of ability again in the ability,
and then there's Rylov as well, who's got probably the best backstroke stroke out there. I mean, Erie's alongside him.
Yeah, well, this will be Erie's last Olympics.
Yeah.
I think he's in his early 30s now. But he's only going as long as he is because of his technique. He's another very smooth backstroker.
I think the IM swimmers as well. Ohashi, she did really well at ISL, and then Margalis. I mean, there's some big swimmers coming through.
I mean, well, it'll be Hosu's last Olympics as well, and she'll be putting everything into it. She was in nowhere near the form that you expect her to be in at ISL.
I think she trained straight through that.
I feel like that's what happened as well.
Yeah.
And she's better long course. So although she looks like she's going in as a dark horse, but I think she'll still be favourite to win that Olympic gold medal. Will she break a world record? I don't think so, no, but she'll win.
I mean, her world record is nuts.
Oh, yes, very good. Yeah. Well, she's another one. We didn't actually bring this up in our Frankenstein monster conversation about. She's quite versatile as well. Very strong IMO, very strong backstroker.
Yeah.
Fly is very strong as well. So that was another one we missed out. But I don't think she's going to get the world record. So if we were going to pick a number, probably 5. 5.
Something along those lines. You just picked that out of nowhere, but let's go with that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for those questions. We love interacting with our audience. This is what we're doing this live stream for. The next race is due on poolside any minute now, and it is, the men's 50-meter breaststroke, I believe.
It is a 50 breaststroke, yes.
Yeah. So we've obviously got Adam Peaty going. This morning, he was a good second off his PB, kind of not surprising with the stage in his training cycle he's likely to be at. I think he'd probably be aiming this evening for a low 26, middle 26, kind of 26 to 26.5. I think he'd be happy with that.
Well, what's his world record?
The world record is
25.4.
Well, his PB and British record is 25.95.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the 100. Yeah. So 9.5. So you think he's going to go low 26? I don't think. I was actually really surprised and actually quite happy that he went 26 point.
Okay.
26.99, but still 26. So I think if he can go 26 point again, then I think that's a good swim. I'd be pretty happy with that.
It's hard because he usually races his best when he's got direct competition. So when he's got Cam Vanderberg next to him, unfortunately Cam's obviously retired now. But that's when he's at his best, when he's at the big meets like this. Yeah, he's getting into gear, he's racing again, but it's very unlikely we'll see him getting anywhere near PBs, I would have thought. No,
I don't think he's going to get anywhere near the world records. I'd still be pretty happy with a 27.1, quite frankly. I think that's what he's going to go, maybe 27.0, 27.1, something along those lines. But I don't think PT should really be the talking point here. All of the swimmers in the pool, as far as I know, this morning swam the fastest that they've been in the last 12 months.
Yeah, so they weren't PBs, but they were the fastest they've been in 12 months. And they all are around the 28.1, kind of 28.1, 28.3 region. So it should be, apart from PT, a very competitive race.
Yeah, and actually based off the start, it's going to be a blanket the whole way. Just ignore PT when he takes off. That's just that's what he does.
Yep, gone.
He's gone already. But Kyle Booth, who's a swimmer at Cardiff, he's looking pretty strong as well.
Yeah,
you can tell that he's only 20 cars. You can tell the difference between almost all of their strokes actually. PC's just a monster, isn't he?
Yeah, I think
wow,
the big difference
he's
from
gone
this morning's racing, there we go, 26.7. That's an improvement from this morning. I think, like you said, he
I think that's very good.
Might be happy with that. The other big improvement is James Wilby.
Yes.
Gone, what, 0.4 faster?
Yeah, I think most of them actually. Oh, the scoreboard's gone. But
yeah, it's not up long enough, is it?
No, I mean, it comes up now. But pretty much looking at it, they've all gone very, very similar times to what they did this morning. I mean, you can't change your time massively over a 50 anyway. You have to really do something very wrong, or you have to go very easy for it to be completely different. But
yeah, so the main improvements there were James Wilby, and then in 6th place, Archie Goodburn set another, not quite lifetime best, but a good improvement on this morning's racing.
Yes, yeah.
Again, it's an event that isn't in the Olympics, so not many of these guys will actually be targeting a 50 breaststroke. They won't have come to this meet looking at a time for a 50 breaststroke. They might just be using it to work on their speed in the 100 breaststroke.
Yeah, quite potentially, and I think that's especially what James Wilby's doing. He's more
he's more of 100, 100, 200 swimmer.
100, 200, 200. And of course, doing a 50 meter, you need that stroke rate to be quite high. So it's good practice to get him going, and to go 27. Was that 27.7? That's not bad going. 0.3 quicker than this morning.
Considering he's not a sprinter as well. Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah, pretty happy with all those actually. Carl Booth might be one to be watching out for. I think breaststroke's actually getting in a better place. I think that this is the PT effect. Yeah, if you can keep up with PT, then you're the best in the world. So so it definitely helps.
Well, I'm sure because they're all part of British Swimming, they get the shared knowledge that him and Mel Marshall have built up together. I know there's obviously Mel has her own training squad at Loughborough, but they also interact with Dave's squad. So there's it's a nice interaction to have with the world's best breaststroker, basically.
Well, I mean, if this is the reason I went to Cardiff, because they had the best freestylers in the country at the time, and that's the reason I went there, just to compete with them. And I thought, if I can compete with them, then I'm on the right track to being the best in the country. That was the thought behind it. And so if these guys can use PT, use his knowledge, use his wisdom, as well as Mel's, as well as David's, then we're looking in a pretty good, strong position, aren't we?
Yeah. So the next event, we have Para 50 breaststroke with a swimmer by itself. Now, it's a shame they're not they couldn't go in the same final as before, because the heats this morning, they were able-bodied and para swimmers together. So why aren't they for the finals?
I don't. Especially when there's only one swimmer in the final, it would.
And there was lanes free in.
Yeah, it would make it a bit better. I'm sure Lyndon would have wanted to be in a lane in the pool with the same guys, especially when Peter.
It's almost unheard of one by yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a shame. And actually, Lyndon is actually the British record holder for this 50 breaststroke for the S3 category.
Okay, so what time has he got to go to get that British record?
So his British record is 57.9, but he went 107 this morning, so he's actually 10 seconds off. So he might be slightly off form. That's just the way it is. Maybe he just had a bad swim. He had a bad start. But it happens. Everyone has their off days. So it's just the way it is. Oh, plenty. Yeah. Speak for yourself. I haven't.
You literally just, when we came back from the break, said you were overruled by Fran Harsel's swim, that you had a bad swim.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
So steady on.
Everyone has a bad swim. But I agree. I think Lyndon should be in the final of the able body as well, just to join them together. It makes sense, really. But because he's got no one to race here.
No crowd.
No, yes, there's no. I mean, I've turned it on. I've turned it on mute, so I can't. I imagine there's barely any atmosphere whatsoever. I suspect he's getting cheers from single people here and there in the building. Yeah, but it's a real shame. Well, let's see what time he goes anyway.
Well, it looks like the clock's gone again.
So 66. So it's improvement. There's a 1 second improvement from this morning.
Okay, that's all you can ask, really.
Slightly off. Yeah, slightly off his British record. Well, I say slightly. He's quite a long way off, but obviously. Maybe he's not training for the breaststroke right now. Who knows? I don't know. It depends how his training is going right at the moment. So,
okay, next event we have another splash and dash.
Splash and dash. Well, this was your event. You did the 50 fly.
I did do the 50 fly. I did it pretty well, but actually, looking at these times, I probably wouldn't have made the final.
What, for
of
the
the women's 50
you know?
fly.
No,
This is a very, very even field.
I'm not even sure I would make I think I'd make the final, but I wouldn't win it. I couldn't go 26 or 25 for a 50 fly.
No, not at all.
But you're right. There's some big names in here. I mean, you got Laura Stevens in lane 7, who's more of a 200 flyer.
Yeah.
You got Freya Anderson, obviously. Marie Whittle, who is a sprint flyer. Harriet Jones, who was very impressive. Yeah, very impressive. Harriet Jones.
A very deep field, this one. I think what you'll find with a lot of these evening or the races later on this evening, they're very competitive.
Yeah, and actually that's exactly what we want to see. We do want these. We need to get this race experience higher because some of them haven't swam for. I don't think did anyone of these girls swim at ISL? Anna Hopkin did. Oh, Marie Whittle. So
Freya Anderson.
Yeah, so 2 or 3. Yeah, 3. Yeah. So the rest of them do need this race experience, especially against the big names as well, just to build the experience up.
Definitely. I used to love 50 fly. It's one of those events where it is just pure power.
Did you breathe?
No.
No breathing?
It's one of those races where you don't breathe. You hold on.
So if you're doing a 50 fly short course, would you breathe at the turn or would you still hold your breath?
No, I think I breathe at the turn.
Yeah. Okay.
It was weird. We never, because we were quite a smallish club, we didn't get the opportunity to race long course that much. I wasn't in the national squad. We raced one long course meet or open meet a year, and then we had districts, which were long course.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there wasn't much other racing. But I found long course racing a hell of a lot easier.
I was more suited to long course as well. I wasn't the best at turns, so the longer the pool, the better. So if there was a swimming pool that was 200 meters long, I think I'd be a bit better there. So I did.
Maybe you should try open water swimming.
No, I did try. I got a silver medal when I was 14, way back when. But then,
British champs?
Yeah, but I was. It's too cold. I wasn't a fan of the cold. I'm quite a skinny person, so it got to my bones.
Oh, poor Dan.
I know.
Okay, so who's your pick for this race?
I think Marie Whittle, wins this one. Would I say comfortable? Maybe half a body length, maybe slightly less than that. I think
Louise Hansen as well is in with a good shout.
Yeah, true. So is that your pick? Is it?
Yeah, let's go with that.
It might be based off the start again, like we always bang on about. Oh, it's blanket. Okay.
This is one of those races where it is blanket the whole way across. I think
they're pretty much doing stroke for stroke here in the middle yellow lanes as well.
They're not breathing.
No, well they shouldn't be.
One breath there at 15.
Marie Whittle hasn't breathed yet, and she's going to win this race in a time of 25.51. Wow, that is good.
Off her PB of 25.50.
Yeah, so it's basically bang on. So,
I mean, Freya Anderson got a new PB there as well.
I'm pretty sure
fast racing in the middle.
I'm pretty sure everyone has just gone faster than they did this morning. Pretty sure they did.
They have. Yeah, looking at the times, they have.
Yeah, so that the trend is continuing. Everyone is getting quicker for the finals, which is exactly what we want. That's the whole idea.
Half a second on a 50 she's won by. That's pretty good.
That's quite far, isn't it? That is quite far. But you can't complain that Hansen's gone quicker than she did this morning. So just a very good swim from Whittle there.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe because Louise Hansen, she did take a breath, like you said, at 15 meters. Maybe that was
so did Whittle.
Did she?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes, I was watching.
Okay. I missed that then. I must have blinked at that point. But if you can try and do a whole 50 without breathing, then it keeps that momentum up. It doesn't drop your body position, because of course when you breathe on butterfly, you lift your head up, and as soon as you do that, your hip sink. And the whole idea is there's an undulation movement for butterfly, and you don't want to disrupt that at any stage, really. And breathing does disrupt it by the slightest of like milliseconds. But it changes it. So
it does depend on the swimmer as well, because Phelps was one of those swimmers who always he breathed at every stroke. on butterfly, but that's because he was so flexible that it didn't drop his hips.
Yeah, I mean, Phelps shouldn't really be in the conversation because I think he was double jointed. Apparently, he was double jointed in every part of his body.
Yeah,
I think
hypermobility.
Yeah, completely. And so it got to the stage where I think he, even if he was breathing or not breathing, his hips wouldn't drop. So Bob Bowman was like, well, you might as well breathe then to get the oxygen in.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. You wouldn't see any other swimmer doing that, breathing every stroke.
Yeah.
But you don't see Dressel doing that because he hasn't got the flexibility that Phelps does. But he's clearly got the power in his core for the underwater work. So.
Okay, next event is the 50 fly now for the para women, and start of British para swimming in the water now.
Quite possibly. Ellie Chalice is the one you're talking about, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yes.
Keep an eye on.
She is the British record holder for the S3 category for this one, and then Ellie Robinson, S6 swimmer, is the British record holder for the S6 as well.
Okay. Did they get anywhere near their British records this morning?
So they're both slightly off. So Ellie Chalice went 61 this morning, 61.2. Her PB then, because it's a British record, is 58.3.
Okay.
So what's that? 3 seconds off. And then Ellie Robinson went 38.2 this morning, and her PB is 35.2.
Okay.
So they're both 3 seconds off. But Leo O'Connell is a pretty decent swimmer as well, actually, who the British record for that is 37.0. So she's forced. They're basically the same amount of time off each of the British records. Yeah. So fingers crossed, we might get one here. Big ask, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So they're all very young, actually. I didn't realize that I knew Ellie Chalice was young, but she's actually only 17.
She's 17, yeah.
She's 17. I thought she was slightly older. I thought she was in like the 20s or something like that.
No, she's set all sorts of records already, hasn't she?
I know, which only bodes well for the future, don't you think?
Definitely.
So I think for the para swimmers, while we were talking about it earlier, I mean, it's vital for fully able swimmers as well. You've got to keep your hips up. The higher you are in the water for butterfly, the faster you're going to go. And these girls look like they're fully able to do that. And of course, the last 10, 15 meters of the 50 fly race, your arms are going to start feeling it, especially if you aren't breathing, because the lactic acid will start to build up.
Yeah.
So the stroke rate will get a little bit slower, as you're seeing a little bit now. So the more you can keep it up, the better it's going to be. So Ellie Robinson finishes 37.06, 1 second quicker than this morning. Leah also finishes 1 second quicker.
Yeah, good improvements all around.
All around, we've still got Ellie in the water at the moment, still going. So even if it's just a 1 second quicker than what it was this morning, that's a good swim.
Yeah.
Any improvement is good. I think I was very harsh when I was swimming, because if I didn't hit a PB, I just thought it was a bad swim. So 101.7.
No, I think you realise the long career goes on that PBs aren't quite as important.
No, it's not. I mean, it depends. I mean, when you're younger, you have no idea about training cycles because you don't realise. You just turn up, you swim, and you expect to do PBs every single time. That is not the case. When you get older, especially when you get older, PBs are less likely to happen. But you understand why.
Yeah.
So
Ellie Chalice finished in a 101.71.
Yeah, slightly off this
slower
morning.
than this morning.
Yeah, but she has raced a lot, so I don't know if a bit of fatigue is kicking in now. She might just need a bit of rest tonight and then be more energized tomorrow. That would probably be the advice I'd give to Ellie.
That'd be your tip, coach. Yeah,
my tip, coach.
Okay, so next we have probably the most competitive race that we're going to see this evening, and maybe for the whole of the meet, the men's 100 meters freestyle. Now, this is a very, very interesting race. It could go several ways. We discussed it before we had the break. There are 6 swimmers with PBs under 50 seconds. There are 2 young swimmers in terms of freestyle who are breaking through. Jacob Whittle hit PB this morning.
He did, yeah. He did
a 59.6. He goes 49.6. He goes in as fastest qualifier, and then Matt Richards has hit a I keep saying 50.
What stroke are we doing? We're doing breaststroke, are we? What's going on?
And Matt Richards has hit a 48.8 and is the European junior gold medalist.
Yes.
So this is a very, I think in the future, come maybe Paris Olympics, this might be a very, very strong event for British swimming.
Well, I feel like Matt Richards and Jacob Whittle are going to be racing next to each other for a number of years.
Yeah.
Because there's a 2-year difference. And that's probably the reason why Matt Richards is faster at the moment, because he is a little bit bulkier, a bit stronger. But give it a couple of years and they'll be on the same sort of level. If not, Jacob Whittle maybe overtakes him. Who knows? We don't know. But
and I mean, you've got Tom Dean in this field. The British record holder isn't swimming, Duncan Scott. I mean, his PB of 47.87. I don't think any of these boys are going to get near that, but it just show the depth that British swimming has right now in 4x100.
Which bodes well again for our relays for the 4x1. If we're going to compete against America, we need these boys to bulk up to get this the fast twitch muscle fibers going. We need the we need the sprinters going, and we do. I mean, we've got Ben Proud as well, who's not really suited to the 100, but
he does all right. I wouldn't knock him too much. He does pretty well at 100 freestyle for a guy the size of him.
I mean, he still goes sub 50, so that's it's pretty good going. It's not slow, is it?
No.
But really looking forward to this one. But there's a bit of a dark horse in Callum Jarvis in lane 7 as well.
Yeah, he has a very fast PB, but he hasn't hit that for I think 5 years now.
It's a good couple of years now, yeah. So you never know, he might bring one out of the bag.
So who's your pick?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Matt Richards because he looks so comfortable doing a 50.0 earlier.
Okay, I'm gonna go Jacob Whittle because obviously he's on form. If he hit a PB this morning, and he will be mighty disappointed in his 50 freestyle yesterday. I think he went in as favorite and was pretty disappointing actually.
Wow, Jacob Whittle was very slow off the block just then. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, it was the same yesterday in the 50.
He's left himself a lot to do, and actually, it's Tom Dean taking out. It's amazing. I didn't realize he went sub 50 as well as doing a 400 specialist. Awesome. But Harry Constantine as well, taking out like a train. This is very competitive.
Well, I did say this would be the best race of the day.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh, Tom Dean's got that lovely gallop stroke.
I know, he's doing it very nicely.
To see when it's done well.
But Matt Richards is coming through like a steam train here.
So is Vazos.
I know. Oh my word, this is a good one.
Oh, this is going to be so close.
Is he going to hold on?
I think Tom Dean's long arms are going to get this.
He's going to get it. Look at that.
And Matt Richards. Oh, there you go. 3 swimmers under 50 seconds. Vazos with a 50.04. Jacob Whittle again doesn't quite go as fast as his heat swim like he did in the 53. I think that come with experience. He is only just 17.
Yeah, I think he was very slow off the blocks just then, which he was immediately after 15 meters was last. Can't afford to do that in a sprint race. But Tom Dean, we were surprised at his 400 swim in the ISL when he was facing Rapsis, and he has just surprised us yet again with a 49.6.
That's a PB.
It feels like a PB. If he went 49.9 this morning, that is a massive PB then. Wow.
Well, it's not massive. His PB before was 49.7. So 49.6 is a nice chunk of time off. We were kind of surprised not to see him racing the 400 freestyle yesterday.
I just feel like he feels as though he's qualified for it. He's the top dog for the 400. Can you think of any other 400 swimmers? Because I don't think Jimmy Guy is now. I don't think he's training for it.
You got Max Litchfield.
Yes, but again, is he more suited or is he more targeting the 400 IM? Because that's what I'd be doing if I were Max Litchfield. So maybe
I think maybe he's targeting a few of the relays, maybe the 4x100.
Quite possibly, yes.
We spoke to him amazingly during ISL, and he's definitely on the 4x2.
I would say so. I think that's kind of cemented on him, and Duncan Scott are the top 2. I would have thought.
So if he can go as well as on the 4x1, then brilliant.
It's a pretty good 4x2 team actually. We need a 4th swimmer. We need because Jimmy Guy, I'm pretty sure, will be in the team as well.
Well, Callum Jarvis is looked good so far this meet. You were very impressed by his 1500 this morning.
No, that's Dan Jervis.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's slightly different. Both Welsh, but yeah.
Both Welsh, very close. My bad.
Yeah. No, Callum Jarvis is more
sprinter.
Yeah, 100, 200, I would say.
So
Dan,
he could be 200 then.
quite possibly, maybe. He is coming. I wouldn't say the end of his career. 29. It's not the end of his career, but he has, like you say, he hasn't PB'd for a while now. So I don't know if he's on the downward slope, which is horrible to say, but every athlete gets to that sort of stage.
Yours being so lovely.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Terrible. But as a positive, that was a good learning curve for Jacob Whittle. Fantastic. So
he's only going to get better as time goes on.
I think Harry Constantine learned quite a bit from that as well. He took it out hard, and now he knows that he needs to just build that back end speed.
Yeah.
But this is where the Australians are so good at the 100. They actually target the back end speed of the 100, where I'm very much, it's 100 meters, you just go flat out. But who am I to say? I'm not really the 100 free expert. I was more suited to the 2 and 4. So
yeah, I think if you want something interesting to do after this podcast, live stream, I would check out Swimming Stats on Instagram, because they do some really, really amazing stuff. And on there, they posted the back end kind of splits, the best back end splits of the 100 freestyle in the world.
Right. They
and
did, yeah.
All of them, male or female, there's Aussies littered all the way throughout them.
And we talk about that as well as their technique. Their technique looks pretty much identical throughout. So they're very suited to the freestyle method. Maybe that's the Thorpe effect. Who knows? Yeah.
So your favorite swimmers back in the pool, then?
I don't have favoritism. I've never been biased like that. I haven't.
You're your most impressive swimmer so far off the meet.
Yes. Well, Abbey Wood is now in contention as well. So
yes,
difficult. We'll put those two up there. But so this is the 100 free. None of the swimmers in the pool have British records here for this race.
Okay. So who are the swimmers in the pool?
So we've got Jonathan Booth, who's also up there with one of the swimmers of the meet. Jordan Catchpole, Dylan Broom, and Michael Jones. Michael Jones is S7. Jonathan Booth is S9, and then the 2 middle lanes are 2 S14s. I think the race is going to be in the top 3 lanes. I think Jonathan Booth will actually give a run, a good run for their money for the S14s as well.
They've taken it out hard.
Well, this is the way I'd do it.
Yeah.
This is why I suffered, especially when I did 100 back. I suffered really badly the last 10, 15 meters, but you got to go for it. It gives yourself the best chance of PBing and medaling and stuff. So how did you do 100?
Oh,
you took it out hard as well?
My fastest ever 100 free was interesting. So my coach, you're obviously, as a swimmer, you're always taught to speak to your coach before you race. And this certain coach, I won't name him, had his favorites, and we were at quite a big meet, and he was speaking to his favorites all the time, and he never got around to talking to me before I had to go to the call room. I was pretty annoyed about this. I was just like, well, come on. I'm a swimmer too. I pay these fees to be part of your squad. Why aren't you speaking to me before a race? There are other swimmers. And it really annoyed me. And I went out like an absolute bullet. Yeah. And I turned to feet in PB for 53, which is a bit weird. And then the last 15 meters, I have never hurt so much in my life.
But you hit a PB overall, though.
Oh, yeah. I hit a PB overall. But those last 50 meters were so painful because I just went out miles too fast. There's going out fast, and then there's not holding anything back.
But then you've put everything in it, you see. Whereas if you hold back, then you think, oh, maybe I could have sprinted earlier or something like that, which is why race experience comes in.
Well, I definitely had nothing left.
Yeah. Well, those 4 swimmers there all went faster than they did this morning. Yeah. Around about maybe half a second each, a second, something along those lines. Good swim from all of them, actually. Yeah. Actually looked pretty strong, and you were talking about how fast they were taken out. Good leg kick from all of them. Nice stroke rate as well. So pretty good, and they're all pretty young. Michael Jones is 27, but the rest of them are 23 and under. So yeah, good talent, good potential for the future.
So another very competitive race coming up, the 100 breaststroke. Now, Molly Renshaw's obviously the form swimmer. She had set the British, or she equaled the British record in the 200 breaststroke yesterday. She doesn't have the 100 breaststroke British record. That is Siobhan Marie O'Connor's. But she might get close, given the form that she's in right now.
You'd be silly to bet against her at the moment. What did you say the British record was?
106.34.
Oh, so it's quite far. I mean, she went 67.5 this morning. So it's quite
But
a
she's
far.
obviously got that back end speed going off yesterday.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And she's got swimmers around her to push her on as well. I mean, Sarah Vasey goes out quite strongly. So the tactic here, if I would be advising Molly, would be to follow Sarah Vasey and then overtake on a second 50.
It's a very experienced field as well. If you look at the names, they've all been around for a little while now.
Yeah, Jocelyn is an ISL swimmer. I think she swam for Toronto Titans, I think.
Yeah,
I think I'm right in saying that. And she's coming through, actually. She has a good chance of getting on the Olympic team if the day is right for her, if she swims well. Imogen Clark is another strong one. She's more suited to the 50. But and Lily Booker, we saw her earlier with the IM. Really nice, smooth breaststroke. So watch out for outside burners. You never know. But I think Molly Renshaw is the form swimmer, and she should be coming through this race.
Yeah, she should be. But elsewhere, it is a very even field. There's a lot of 108 swimmers in this.
Yes, I mean, if we could see a couple of 107s, that would be very, very good. It's good to see the depth. There's always a certain events that we have lots of depth on, and then other events where we've got no one, which is a shame. But that's just the way it is.
I think it's evening out slightly more than it has done in recent years. I think there's a lot of swimmers now who can go to the Olympics and hopefully final.
Yep, it's amazing how we always do well as a country. We always do well as a country on breaststroke.
Yes,
we've always done. We've gone Duncan Goodhue and going back years and years and years. Jameson was the last one to medal at the Olympics before PC. And it just.
I mean, you had Andrew Willis as well.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Lots of names.
It seems to be the knock-on effect. We know how to swim breaststroke, whether it's male or female.
Okay, so actually, I kind of want to watch this race and see how Molly Renshaw does. I'm very interested to see if she does kind of get close to that British record.
I mean, she's doing very well as she does. We'll see, though. We'll see. Expect Sarah Vasey to take it out hard. Yeah. She's very, very quick off the blocks. And if Molly can stay with her, then potentially we'll see.
I think it's level start. As you said, Sarah's just pulling away now, taking it on on the second 25.
Yeah.
But Molly Renshaw does have a very strong back end.
Yes, I mean, she's got a much slower stroke rate than Sarah Vasey right now, but you'll see on the second 50 that stroke rate will actually be matched. She'll increase that, you know, purposely. So you'll see now. I think Lily Booker, I was talking about at the I think her stroke is too smooth for 100 meters. She's more suited to the 200, yeah. But here you go. See, now the stroke rate is so much higher for Molly. If anything, it's very, Sarah Vasey's still got slightly higher, but she's catching more water, Molly, than she's the other swimmers. And actually, lane 2, who's that? Imogen Clark, holding on nicely. Oh, it's going to be a blanket finish.
A very close finish.
Who's going to get touched? Molly just got there, just on a full stroke, 67.3. Slightly quicker than this morning. That's good, though.
There's a few 107s there. That's nice to see.
Yeah, well, that was good to see.
Not quite the British record. Obviously, she's more adept at swimming the 200.
Yes, yeah.
But still, that's not shabby at all.
No, well, I'd be pretty happy if from every swimmer in that water, actually. Even Georgia Coates at the bottom, she went a second quicker, or near enough a second quicker. Oh, no, sorry, she went over a second. Jocelyn, 108.5. What she go this morning? 108.9. So slightly quicker again. That's good. Yeah, very good. I just wonder. I wonder if it's the PT effects, because we've got a world-class breaststroker. They all seem to copy what he's doing. You know.
Yeah. Well, like we said earlier, it's shared knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure once Phelps retired, I'm sure Bob Bowman's been to most clubs in America and said, what did you do to make him so good? And that's why their underwaters are just incredible.
Yeah.
And obviously David Hemmings has picked up on this knowledge and made Abby Wood, Joe Litchfield, and the rest of his swimmers at Loughborough take off, it seems.
So next event is the para version of the 100 breaststroke. We have probably Britain's most well-known para swimmer in the water.
Yep, Ellie Simmons. That's right. Yeah. So she's an S6 or SB6. So S6 would be backstroke, but because backstroke is the same letter, it's SB for breaststroke. Okay. Yeah,
it's good to know.
Yeah. I don't know what it is for fly, actually. I've just realized I probably should have a look at that as well. But yeah, so Maisie in lane 5, watch out for her. She is the British record holder on this event. 1:33.4 is her record.
Okay, so she's got to go, what, 3 seconds faster than this morning?
Give or take, yes, yeah.
But again, she is only 19.
I know. It's good, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing how these swimmers seem to be getting younger and younger. But then you look at the other end, and swimmers are actually getting older and older. They're staying in the game longer.
Yeah.
So it must be down to nutrition. It must be down to rehab and dealing with injuries better, or preventing injuries rather. It must be something to do with that.
Yeah.
And keeping motivated in the game. Maybe there's more fun. Well, there is more funding in swimming now. You only have to look at the ISL, obviously, but of course you've got to qualify for the ISL.
I think swimming's gone out of the phase of meters as well. I think that has phased out. So there are swimmers who are wanting to stay swimming longer because their bodies aren't getting broken down quite as badly as they were before.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about Michael Andrew, who I've done a like a breakdown of him, and he's done a new training method. I say new, I think it's been around a while now. The ultra short race pace training.
Okay.
Where he, the standard sort of swimmer would be doing 6-7K a session, something along those lines, but he would be doing 3. So he's basically doing half.
He's doing it all high pace kind of stuff.
And there's a lot of rest, and it's all race pace stuff. Yeah.
It's kind of what Marco Koch does. We spoke to him before. He does a lot of 50s at race pace, even though he's a 200 breaststroker. He likes to always feel out what stroke is working for him at race pace.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, so let's take this 100 breaststroke now, for example. The race is done in just over a minute, something like that. You know. So what's the point swimming 6K per session if you're going to swim for a minute? It doesn't really make sense. So this ultra race pace training that Michael Andrew does, well, it obviously works up until this point because he's broken all these records and he's got to the Olympics. Well, he probably will get to the Olympics. He hasn't got there yet. Of course, he's only 21.
It's competitive. I'll tell you what, to get onto that freestyle or sprinting team, that's hard work.
Yeah.
Because Dressel's in, and then you got Nathan Adrian.
Oh, there's loads of swimmers.
Yeah, you got
so many. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. In my head, it makes sense doing this ultra race pace.
No, I agree. Stuff. As a sprinter, definitely.
As a sprinter, yeah, obviously it's not going to be worthwhile. It's not going to be worthwhile if you're a 1500 swimmer. Just that you've got to put the meters in for that.
You do.
But if you're racing for a minute, then what's the point? There's no point just grinding up and down the pool. You need perfect technique. You see a lot. You're a big fan of James Gibson. A lot of technique with fins on. A lot of technique, and yes, it's just sprint all of the time. But the rest has to be quite a lot as well. You need active recovery in the rest of it. So,
yeah,
it's all very specific. But yeah. So Louise has finished in 1:17. What did she go this morning? Oh, 1:17. So she's 0.8 quicker.
Yeah.
Maisie, the record holder for the S6s. What's the record? 1:33. Slightly so. It's 1:36. That's right. Yeah. And Ellie Simmons
improved by a second.
By a second. Good. Yeah.
Nice
swimming indeed. Yes.
Right. So we have one more race of the day. And before we get to that, if anyone has any comments or questions just before we finish the live feed after that event, please do start letting us know. Otherwise, we will see you all guys. We will see you guys all tomorrow. Got there eventually. But before we get to that, we do have the 200 meters butterfly. Now, there are only 4 swimmers in this race, but Jimmy Guy's in this, Max Litchfield's in this, and I think this is going to be a far closer race than many have predicted.
Max Litchfield is very versatile, isn't he? I mean, he can do the 400 free, the 400 IM. He's now doing a 200 fly. And he pushed Jimmy Guy the distance, as you can see by the times. He was only 0.01 off him. I mean, you can't get any closer other than drawing.
And you watched it this morning, live tweeted it.
Yeah.
You said it looked like Jimmy Guy was kind of fading off towards the end.
He
So,
pushed it. He pushed it. I wouldn't say he pushed it hard. I just think he went out slightly too fast at the beginning,
yeah,
and then didn't quite have enough to save at the end. Because I think with 25 meters to go, he was over half a body length ahead.
okay, that's
But
a
then
bad drop off, then,
Max was
isn't it?
and Max was coming through. So it depends. I wonder if he changes his tactics here, whether he does go out slower, because he's very competitive, Jimmy Guy.
Yes, he is.
If you put him in with the biggest swimmers, which he has, he's raced Phelps, he's raced Dressel, and he's kept up with them.
Mm.
I wonder if that would be the tactic, whether to just stick on Max Litchfield's shoulder for the entire race and then just get him at the end.
Gone at the end.
But it's a risky tactic because Max Litchfield's endurance and his stamina is very good. So
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'd still go. Oh man,
Both of them have PBs under 2 minutes. I mean, Jimmy Guy's race this morning, he was a good 4 seconds off his PB.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to pick one, it'd be Jimmy Guy.
Okay.
But it's difficult to bet against Max. It really is. I'm going to go Jimmy Guy though.
Okay.
Just because he has the pedigree, the experienced pedigree behind him.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The outside lanes shouldn't be missed out either. An 18
No,
and
I mean,
19-year-old.
they're both 202 kind of swimmers, or they were this morning. It'd be good to see them going against each other. You kind of have 2 separate races going on in the pool today.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it'd be better if those 2 lanes were next to each other. So if Ed and Charlie were next to each other, and then James and Max were next to each other, that'd be better. But
you know that's not how swimming works.
No, it needs to be spearheaded. Obviously, that's the way it goes. But it'd be better for them because they're not going to see each other, especially doing fly, unless you brief to the side on fly, which doesn't happen.
Chad.
So Chad sometimes, sometimes he does.
He doesn't brief to the side. He just looks around.
Yeah. So who would you go for then?
I think I'm going to have to go Jimmy, but I don't know. I'm not convinced by him racing right now. I know he's in a giant training block because ISL, he obviously trained all the way through that. He's one of those swimmers who knows he's on the plane. So why target meets like this? Why not just keep training, keep going through? I know he trains incredibly hard from the stories that you're telling me when you trained with him over in Cardiff. So I think he's just targeting Tokyo now. There's no need to taper for trials because they may not even go ahead.
Potentially. I mean, I would never miss any races. We've banged on about this enough. We don't race enough over in this country, whereas Americans race. If not every weekend, it's every other weekend. That's how much they race. That's why they're so good when it comes to racing, because they're so used to it. They get that experience. And to miss these sort of opportunities that British Swimming have put out, especially for this meet, would be silly. You wouldn't want to miss this sort of meet. So that's probably the reason why he's here, quite frankly. Even if he feels as though he is on the plane, then get in and race anyway.
Yeah.
I see him as more of a relay swimmer sometimes in my head. So he does need to be more competitive racing against people because that's what he's going to be doing. So yeah. They look very relaxed here, don't they?
They really are. Everyone's smiling and joking around. It's a bit weird.
Yeah. Well, that's the last race of the day. I don't think anyone's in the building. They must have all left.
Oh, I can't remember smiling before a 200 fly ever.
I know, crying more like. Yeah. The goggles fill up with tears. Maybe that's what Phelps was doing. He was crying halfway through the pain.
Oh, right. Last race of the day. You reckon Jimmy Guy's just going to sit on Max Litchfield's shoulder? I think he's going to take it out very, very strong again.
Do you reckon he'll do the same tactic?
Yeah.
I would lean towards that as well. If
You've
I was
just said
no, that's what I would recommend to him.
Oh,
that's what I would say for him to do. But I do think he's more. He takes he's always known to take the lead from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Which isn't always a bad thing.
If he's got a tactic he's going to be using for Tokyo, which is take it out strong, then just keep practicing it now.
Yeah, pretty much. I would always get to the front. I like getting to the front as well because then it stops you getting stuck in the waves and the eddy currents and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, there you go. He has taken it out strong.
Taken it out strong. Tries to get a clear lead. So it depends. Let's see if he dies off in the last 10 or 15 meters again, or if he actually tries to get into a bit of a rhythm after that fast 50. What was that? 26 what? 26.0 was that?
25-0.
25.0. Oh boy, that's pretty quick for a 200 fly. But he's going to try and hold on here. So let's see how badly the wheels come off.
This is kind of always enjoyable as a swimmer to watch the pain.
I mean, it kind of feels like he's actually trying to get a 100-meter time here. That's how fast he's going. Maybe he will get a
Maybe he is.
No, he's still going. 53 was that? That's good.
53.8. Yeah,
that
that's
is
not
quick.
slow.
So of course, by going out like this, it now puts pressure on Max to try and catch him up. You see? So
yeah.
So Jimmy's given himself the best chance of winning because he is already that far ahead.
I tell you what, Max's technique here doesn't look brilliant. It looks like he's tired as well.
It looks a bit stiff, doesn't he? But he will catch up at the end because is the wheels coming off already now? He needs a good turn, Jimmy, here. Use that underwater work.
Long glide.
Oh, Max has got loads left. Look at that turn.
Yeah.
But now
he's miles too far ahead. He's not getting caught up here.
He's given himself so much of a lead that it's impossible to catch him now. And a great swim from Mildred in lane 2 up there. Sorry, lane 3 up there. He's actually going to better Max here.
I think he is, yeah.
What time's this going to be, actually? What time did he go earlier? 2 minutes 9.
2 minutes 9.
Wow, big swim. 1:56.3.
Wow. That's very close to his PB. He's only 0.4 off.
I know.
So, I would say all of our myths about Jimmy Guy not being on form are gone.
Are just ruined now. Ruined.
Yeah. that was very impressive.
Well, what's more impressive? Do you reckon Jimmy Guy's swim was more impressive or Mildred's swim? Because
I think Jimmy Guy.
I don't know what Ed's PB is, but he's just gone 1:59.3 and he went 2:02 this morning.
3-second PB over a day. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was that his PB? 2:02.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, but that's a pretty good swim either way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that rounds up tonight's racing over at the Manchester International Swim Meet. If you have enjoyed this video or this live stream from Propulsion Swimming, I hope you've joined us. I hope you've watched the whole way through. If you have, well done.
Yeah.
We will be back hopefully tomorrow for tomorrow's evening's racing. And yeah, please subscribe to the Propulsion Swimming YouTube channel and like this video and share any other videos of ours that you like with your friends.
Yes, well, we're going to be doing one more live stream tomorrow for the final day of the Manchester International Swim Meet. Hopefully everyone tunes in then. That'll be really nice. Until then, I'll see you later on.
Yeah, it's been nice chatting with you again, Dan. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow.
All right, catch you later on.